Okay, there is a time I visited a certain salon in another country in Africa. As soon as I walked into the salon with my children, I wanted to do. I had a child who wanted to do pedicure for a school function. So when I went there, my intention was just to accompany her, and then she does whatever she needed to do, and I'm with her. And I'm also helping with choosing natural colors because she wanted the toenails painted, because of the shoes and the function at school. You know, there are certain funny things that happen at school. So for me, I decided, okay, we went, and then whilst we're doing, my other child was crying that I must do the same. I must also look nice. I must do my pedicure as well. So rather than waiting, because I was already in a salon anyway, I don't really go to salons a lot because I get attacked, because most hairdressers, they use rituals to attract customers and to attract money. So most often when I get into a salon, I start to get attacked most of the time. Most hairdressers are in deep things. Some are just prostitutes. Some have spirits of witchcraft following them and they are controlled by it. Some, you notice, like most of them, they love money. They're materialistic. But some, in addition to those things, they've gone a step further, where they did rituals to attract customers, to attract clients with money, to attract men, to attract, those sort of things. So that's why I normally avoid salons. But this salon which I had gone to, it's in a foreign country owned by an Indian. And for me, Indians are deeper in these things. People who are Indians, for me, they're the West. People, Middle East, India, and even some white people, their businesses are not clean. They belong to even West Scouts. So I remember when I was there doing my now pedicure, and I was doing my nails, I remember what happened. I started talking to one woman who was doing my nails, because as soon as I stepped into this salon, they called me by the name of another person who was from Zimbabwe. And then they told me I look very, very much like that other person. So we immediately got into a conversation where these 3 or 4 people in a salon, they were now talking about their experiences in Zimbabwe. They had this exchange program where they went to Zimbabwe to do hairdressing, to do beauty. I don't know. It's not hairdressing only, but they also do this nails, they do skincare, those things that are done in salons, and pedicures, and even massages and facials and a lot of other things. So they told me of a place they had gone to in Zimbabwe, and they were living at a place close to Mugabe's residence. Robert Mugabe's Blue Roof residence. That's where they were living. But they were also operating from Borodale, from Sam Levy. So it was like an internship or an exchange of some sort, skills exchange or whatever, training that they were doing. So these people came from their country where salon workers just look ordinary. They don't have to have fake lashes. They don't have to look like slay queens. But in Zimbabwe, we have a trend where you can go to these places. This place where they went to, the hairdressers are also slay queens. They wear loud makeup, many layers of makeup. They look unnatural. So these ladies were now complaining about the experiences they had, that they noticed something funny in Zimbabwe among these people that they were working with. They noticed these people they worked with, they are so materialistic. They like to get things from others, but they don't like to share. They They look down on people based on appearance. If you look normal, they start to look at you like, and also they behave like it's competition. So she was talking about she started talking about her negative experiences in Zimbabwe, and how the women there, they spend so much money on their own appearances. They spend a lot of money on their hairstyles, on their facials, the fake eyelashes, the eyebrows, the perfumes. It's like, so she talked to me about how she was just dressed normal like she was when I was seeing her. You know, this is a married woman, and the other one, they are married. So they dress normally. They are not in the salon to attract anything or anyone. It's not like they are doing anything else just other than doing their hair, and the salons are dominated by women. So they said that in Zimbabwe, they noticed something about their life, that these women, they looked different, and they were fast, like prostitute-like. They were also people who are heartless. I think anyone can also tell the type of hairdressers that are like that in Zimbabwe. They are also ritualists. They've gone to Nigeria and other West African country to get rituals, to attract men, to attract customers. They take people's hair. They do a lot of things. And they're not just ordinary hairdressers. They are people possessed by demons, and they work for someone. They work for the marine kingdom because of their lust for money, lust for wealth, and also for powerful men in their lives, and for attracting clients with money. So this woman, as I was talking to her, the others also joined in. And they were explaining their experiences. You know, I was actually embarrassed because everything they were saying was true, because I've also witnessed it. And I avoid saloons with people like that, but unfortunately the majority of people who do here, they are like that. They're like prostitutes. They are slave queens. Slave queen means they are prostitutes. You know, there is no big difference between a prostitute who made us people and a slave queen, because these people can do anything for money. So then after she finished talking about their experience, they talked, it was like 3 or 4 of them were explaining what was happening in Zimbabwe. And they were even careful, because they don't want me to feel offended that I'm saying that my fellow Zimbabweans were prostitutes or were bad people. But for me, I'm the one who had to tell them, I know for us, yes, they are like that. They are into, you know, most of them, they're into married men. Most of them, they break marriages. Most of them, they are like this. They are not normal people. They are ritualists. That's what I explained, that what you're witnessing, you're dealing with ritualists. That's how they do. So now they were like, yeah, now that explains something. Because when these people now came to our country, what happened when they started working in our saloons, the saloon was filled with men with money. Many men would just come to the saloon. It was like too busy. The day they stepped their feet in the saloon, there were many male clients coming to the saloons. They would come to do their hair. Some would just come to wash their hair. So it was like, as they were explaining what was happening to them, then they explained that, but you know, the unfortunate thing, these many men would come like there's something calling them, like they were being drawn to the saloon. And we had, the saloon struggled with space for people to sit, because it was like flies. They were attracted to the saloon like flies, and there were many of them that it was scary. But the day these Zimbabwean women left, they stopped coming. So it only happened when they were there. Then they're like, now that's making sense that you're explaining that they're ritualists. Because me, I was wondering if it's just the way they dress. They know, like, but you know, it's like people, men who are confused, who just get into the saloon and they want to do their hair, they want to cut, or you know, it's like I said, it's a saloon owned by an Indian where they also do male hairs. They also, you know, white people, they come there to do their hair. So, but most black people, when they come, they are coming, only women come, because they deal with hair, with where they are braiding, where they are putting chemicals, where they are styling. But for black men to come to cut their hair, it's not that common, because they are not a barber. They only cut the hair of white people, and women as they style it and put chemicals, because white people do put chemicals to make their hair look a certain way. So, but now these black men were coming in a salon and asking for the services. Can you just wash my hair? Can you just do pedicure? Can you just, those things that are not common for black men? But they were coming, many of them. And it was so strange. So, this thing where Zimbabweans and socialized Zimbabwean hairdressers, Zimbabwean business people, they are more into rituals. It's very well known now. In fact, Zimbabwe is one of the countries with many ritualists that are masquerading as prophets and men of God and women of God. These people, you look at their appearances, they look like the queens of the court. You see someone who be calling themselves a prophetess or a pastor's wife or something, but they look like something from under the water. They are dressed, there's no difference between them and the ladies of the night. They are looking, they're bleaching their hair, they're doing loud makeup, just like we see those escorts do. It's because whatever spirit operating through them is the same spirit, it's from the marine kingdom. They are ritualists masquerading as something else. And you see that also with nurses. There's a lot of Satanism in hospital. There are a lot of nurses involved in Satanism. So I just wanted to introduce this subject by telling of an experience about hairdressers in Zimbabwe and their connection to the marine kingdom. This was an example that really showed that even as a country, this marine kingdom in Zimbabwe has become extreme, such that you see many people doing their hair in salons of ritualists. They are being caged, their souls are being caged. That's why you look at the lives of people. Sometimes after you go to a salon, your life crumbles. Your marriage struggles, your children, you start to struggle with a lot of issues, jobs and anything, because your hair is connected to your glory. Because even if you read in the Bible says, okay, I want to read something about the hair. But if a woman have long hair, it is glory to hair, for hair is given to hair for a covering. For hoary head is a crown of glory, Proverbs 16:31, of glory, if it be found in the way of righteousness. So you see, there's a lot of scriptures that talks about hair and the glory. It connects it to a person's glory, a person's virtues. A hair is a crown of glory. So you see, even when you look at there's a scripture where the Lord is talking about the hair, and that this person and razor blade shall not touch their hair, because they are anointed. So you see that about, I think John the Baptist said that kind of power, spiritual power, his hair carried power. You see that also with Samson, the power was in his hair. So for most women, when you have dreams, like I think most of you can relate that when you're a child, there are cases of people who wake up with hair removed. Some, they wake up and hair is shaved from their head. And then that person, strange things begin to happen. And you notice when a person wakes up with the hair shaved from their head, it was something serious. I remember when I was growing up, we were told by my mother not to talk about the fear of witchcraft and having your hair cut by witches was so real that my mother would tell us not to talk about those things at night, because witches would be, when you talk about it at night, witches would give ideas to witches. You know how it was, like people would say don't talk about certain things at night. I remember as a child, there was a case of a certain person when I was going to primary school. That girl woke up with the hair shaved, and the parents, it was so scary that the parents had to pause. The girl couldn't go to school, and they had to go to many ritualists, many prophets, many witch doctors to try and find out and reverse whatever was done by witches. And whenever you watch about stories about people, you notice there are a lot of people who are involved who would tell you that their problem started when they had a dream of someone shaving their hair or cutting their hair or styling their hair, or they went to a place and the person asked them to shave their hair. You notice, like witch doctors, when they're delivering someone, which is just initiating someone deeper into Satanism, if it's a serious case, they shave the person's head and get rid of all the hair. It's because they are merely dedicating the hair and that person's glory to demons. So there is a lot. Ritualists, they love the hair. In a salon, they love witches, they love the hair. Just like you find witches, they love the hair and blood and human meat. That's why where you notice places like hairdressers, where they do with hair and nails, because they like hair and nails. They like anything from a human being that they can use for witchcraft to connect to demons. And also, the next thing they like is human blood. That's why, and the placenta. That's why you find in the medical field many devil worshippers. They are in hospitals working as nurses and doctors, and some even go there as pastors to pray for people, when in actual fact they are killing people and harvesting souls. And then you notice they also, witches and wizards and all of, they also like dead bodies, water from a dead body, meat from a dead body, certain organs from a dead body. That's why you notice ritualists like to own morgues or mortuaries. You find the fascination with death. So you find a lot of people who are witches. They like to dominate saloons. They like to dominate spas. They like to be in hospitals, because they like to get connected to blood, the placentas and the other things from the human body, and also to get rid of vulnerable people. And then they also like morgues or mortuaries. And the other thing, they like operating in churches. They also like operating in schools, because in schools you can actually drink human blood. And also they like to operate in butcheries, where they defile the meat with human meat or blood or even feces. There are a lot of things that happen. Satanists also like to work in schools, because there's nothing that gives the devil joy than to corrupt the young people or to take blood. There's some children who go to school, they are okay, then the teachers are doing incantation and spell and stealing destinies and even stealing the brains of the children, or even some go to the extreme of even having things that drain blood from the students. And there's also a lot of Satanism in the transport industry, where a person sacrifices their passengers. That's why when some of you go into this public transport, you start to get weak, you start to feel sleepy, or you start to have like funny experiences where you feel like your hair stands up. It's just a sign that something spiritual is ongoing. Some, you start to become drained because something is drinking your blood. So there is a lot of witchcraft, but on this series I want to talk about my experience with witchcraft that involve that involve taking the glory of another person through their hair.